So to run a container, the command will be docker run and then the image name. Okay. So let me just show you a hello world image name. Docker Hub is the public repository, and this is where we can get the list of all the Docker images which are publicly available. So let me search for hello world. So this is a official Docker official image. Okay. So it's a very simple example of minimal Dockerization. It will just print a output like this. So to check whether your Docker installation is perfect and you are able to run the Docker containers without any issues, you can use this. So let me run this. Docker run hello -world. So when it is running, I just want you to note down two different things. First one is, it is saying unable to find the image hello world :latest. I haven't mentioned this :latest anywhere when running the command. Okay. And the next is, it is pulling from library/hello world. I haven't provided what is this library/hello world. Okay. So in Docker images, if I want to maintain versioning for the images, I will maintain the version like : some version number. Okay. So both alphabets and numerics are allowed here. Okay. So if I don't give any version, for example, in the hello world, I haven't given anything. In that case, it is going to, by default, download the latest version. For every container, there will be a latest version should be available. Okay. So you can see that in the Docker Hub, in the tag section, you'll be able to see this. So this is the latest one. Like I have other versions like Linux, Nano Server. Okay. So multiple versions. If you want to maintain multiple versions of an image, you will maintain it using the : tag. So that is what, even if I don't give : anything, it is referring to the : latest. Okay. And the next thing is, by default, Docker will try to pull the images from the Docker Hub only. Okay. If you want to change it, you can change it in the Docker daemon configuration file. I'll just show you the directory structure and others later. But by default, it will try to pull the image from the Docker Hub only. That is what this library means. Library refers to the Docker Hub. From the Docker Hub, if I want to use that, I will be doing this. Okay. In this case, let me also show you another example. Okay. Yeah. So let me search for Ubuntu. You can see there is a Ubuntu available. In that, there are multiple versions available, right? So the latest refers to the 20.04, or if you want 18.04, these are only OS versions. This is Ubuntu 20, this is Ubuntu 18. Like at the same time, I have 21.4, 21.10, okay, and 14, and then 16. If I want to download or run the particular version, I'll be giving docker run the image name : the version number. Okay. So let's see that example. So prior to that, let me show you. Okay. Okay. So if I try to run the command again, let me try to run the command again. You should see a difference, right? This time it is not pulling from the library because the image is already available on my machine. So it is not pulling it again. So if you run the command again, this will not pull it because the previous run itself has pulled the image from the Docker Hub. It has executed. As the image available locally, it is going to run it directly without pulling it. Okay. To list the images which are available on the Docker host, the command is docker images. The command to list all the images which are available on my local Docker host is called docker images. So in this, you can see the image name as the repository and the tag is latest because I don't provided any tag. So it is going to use the default latest tag. And next one is called as the image ID. So image ID is something like whenever you run a container, it is going to create a hash value of the container, and that will be mapped as a container ID in the image. When the image is created, it is going to create a hash value. You kind of seen a similar behavior in the Git. When you are doing a commit, it is going to automatically create a commit ID. That commit ID is nothing but the hash value of the particular commit. In the same way, Docker is going to create the hash value of the image, and that will be stored as a image name. Okay, and it is going to talk about when it is created and what is the size of the image. It is only 13, almost 14 KB. That's it. So when I do a Docker run, if the image is not available locally, it is automatically pulling it, right? Imagine I want to pull the image before running that container. How do I pull the image from the Docker Hub? So the command is, so if you see this on this machine, I don't have the hello world image available. So if I try to run the Docker run hello -world. So first thing what it is doing, it is searching saying that I am not able to find the image locally. So it is downloading it and then it is running that. Okay. When I run the command again, you see this time it never pulled it because the image is locally available. So it just executed the container. So when I do the Docker pull, I haven't mentioned any tag. So it is downloaded the Ubuntu latest. That means it is downloading the version 20.04. Imagine I want to download the 18.04. So I will be giving the command as docker pull Ubuntu : 18.04. So it is downloading a newer image, and if I do a Docker images now, I can see two Ubuntu images with different image ID and then different tag. The differentiator is the tag. Okay, Ubuntu is a basic operating system. Okay, you need to give a running process. Okay, in Docker, you need to tie the Docker container to a running process. Basically, so the Docker container lifecycle depend on the executing process of the Docker file. Okay, we'll talk about what is executing process, how do I define that. Okay, so in this case, if you run the Ubuntu, there is no executing process. So if you run it, it will just go away. I'll just show you. Docker run Ubuntu. That's it. It is basically brought up the Ubuntu container and it went away. I'll just show that. So to list all the containers. So if I do a Docker PS, nothing will be there because there is no running containers on this Docker machine. To see all the containers on the machine, you need to use Docker PS-A. So this is going to list all the containers irrespective of the state. So Docker PS will list only the running containers and Docker PS-A will list all the containers irrespective of the state. So if you see this, I have run the Ubuntu, but this container came in as there were no running process tied to the Ubuntu. It just came out of it. So it was created 27 seconds ago and it was exited 26 seconds ago. So it lived only for a second because there is no running process on the Ubuntu container. So it will be something similar to when you want to install application on a server, what you will do, you will take the base operating system, On top of that, you will install the application, and then you will push the source code, and then you will expose it to the external world. The similar thing, we are going to do it in the Docker file. We'll take the base Ubuntu image. On top of that, we will install in the application, and then we will expose it to the external world.